Hi, I'm Elise Finney, and I'm with Done with Divorce, a nice little video with Jennifer McCammon, who is with Bean Kinney Corman in Arlington, Virginia. She's a family law attorney, and she does a lot of quadro. So people always wonder, what is a quadro? I don't know what that means. And I will tell you, it is called a qualified domestic relations order. And it's something that you need. It's a legal document that you need when you are dividing up any type of qualified plan, such as a 401k. And there's some other nuances in there, but we're not going to get into that today. But one question, first of all, I'll say, hi, Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. The reason why I wanted to bring Jennifer on today and ask her this specific question, so people kind of understand why or where the motivation comes from, why we want to divide these accounts as soon as possible after a divorce decree is complete. So the question here is, can you just identify some of the liabilities that result in delaying the process and how you can minimize these risks?
Sure. Well, thanks again for having me. So there is an interesting timing issue that we have anytime we're dividing up retirement assets, and that is that you can't divide a retirement account until or contemporaneously with a divorce being finalized. And so oftentimes people will enter into an agreement, a settlement agreement that speaks to how these retirement assets are going to be addressed and divided and transferred, but you can't take steps to actually divide them until you are divorced. The law just simply doesn't allow for that to happen pre-divorce, but it's really important to ensure that your attorney, financial advisor, whomever is getting all the paperwork they can together so that these can be done as close to the time that you are divorced as possible. And you asked about some reasons why that's important. Several things. One, until those funds are actually transferred to you, the recipient, the alternate payee, it's sometimes called, you don't have any control over how those are invested. So even if your separation agreement speaks to making no changes in how they're invested or not taking loans or withdrawals, you really can't control those funds. And you're dependent on your former spouse to manage them wisely on your behalf, which sometimes isn't a trust that you may have. And so it's important to have that done quickly because you want to be able to control your own assets. You may want to move them into a different type of fund or otherwise roll them into your own retirement funds. And the longer you wait, the less control you have over how those are invested. There are also some very significant possibilities that could happen. Like one person could die before those assets are actually divided. And while a lot of quadros, and if your attorney is doing his or her job, a lot of agreements will speak to what happens should one party predecease the other or before they are divided, it's still a bit of a mess. You don't want to get into an issue where you are fighting with your estate is fighting with the other party about what's to happen with certain retirement assets. And so until they are actually transferred into your name, which is what the quadro does, there's the possibility, the potential that if you were to predecease your spouse before those funds are transferred to you, now you have somebody else coming in and trying to sort of clean up that mess. And it's just a mess you don't want to leave to someone else. It's good planning to have it all into your name. Those are two of the biggest reasons, but there are also costs, just basic costs that you incur by waiting a long time to actually make the division. One of those is that most often the court will close out your file. So once you're divorced, the court closes that file. And after a period of 30 days, you have to file sometimes 21 days, you've got to file a motion just to reopen the case. You've got to pay a fee just to have the case reopened. There's no reason that you should have to do that when these retirement assets can be divided much sooner. And the other piece of it is you're going to have to pay that attorney to draft the orders when they haven't really thought about the case for a while, and they're going to have to get themselves back up to speed in terms of how this order is to be done. You're going to have to seek out your ex-spouse's attorney who may or may not be paying any attention to things. And there's just a significant cost that comes with that, a cost that you don't really want to incur. And you want to be able to anticipate all of that at the same time. So it's really important to remind whomever you're working with to have those ducks in a row so that they can all be done at the exact same time that the divorce is finalized.
Great. that you shed a lot of light on this subject today, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks.